The Single Mom Success Podcast, episode 26. Why couldn't you just let this woman be? If you didn't agree with how many presents or how many packages she provided for her kids, keep on moving. Heather Wells and the Single Mom blog present Single Mom Success, the place for single moms to find support, inspiration, and the path to their own success. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Single Mom Success Podcast. Happy holidays. I hope you guys are doing wonderfully well. The holidays have overtaken my home, and as such, my podcasts obviously have fallen off, so I do apologize for that. I found that I've been apologizing a lot lately for missing the podcasts, and I think just this time of year has been so chaotic. There's just been so much going on, and I think that there are probably some people who like they handle that, right? They have got all their ducks in a row. Like, they're that perfect mom, right? The one that you see and you're sitting there, like, she's got her hair done and she's dressed really nicely and she's got all her snacks and her car's really organized and she's got like everything super clean and organized and everything's in its place. And you know, those moms where I look at them and I'm like, my socks match today, so I'm awesome. Right? Like, I am not that mom. I wish I was that mom. Not because I feel like I have to be that mom, but just because, you know, I always feel like I should be more organized, let me rephrase that, because I don't feel like I should be anything necessarily. I want to be more organized, but I find that it's not my strong suit. I am not one of those type A personalities. I am not OCD. I'm the farthest thing from it. And I'm sort of more of a go with the flow. And, you know, if you could see my room right now, it's got laundry baskets in it with laundry that hasn't been folded yet and may in fact need to go back into the dryer for a round just to get all the wrinkles out because they've sat for a while in the baskets. I'm the mom that will leave the wash in the washing machine for too long, forget about it, and have to run it again like 3 times. That's me. I am the mom who, like, I don't have it together when it comes to just being organized in my house. And so one of my goals and my plans for my New Year's resolution in January of 2016 is going to be to get my home and such organized in a better fashion. And I do okay with it in bits and pieces. So for example, like, you know, I've got my bookcase fairly organized. I've got a filing cabinet for my files and papers so that they don't just fly around everywhere. I've got bins and things that I put things in. So I'm making a valiant effort to try and get there. I just, you know, I would love to be able to have enough money to just hire a personal organizer to just come in and just take care of it all. That would be like my best Christmas gift ever. That and a maid, because I truly, like, I am just not that person. I you know, and it sounds terrible, I think, to some people, but I'm not. I don't enjoy cleaning. Not that I think anybody enjoys. Well, there's some people, I guess, that enjoy cleaning. I am not that person, but you know, I have always said that my measure of success in my business, when I feel. Somebody had asked, when would I feel that I have become successful in my business? And I said, when I have enough money to hire a cleaning person full time. That is when I will feel successful, because that is like my ultimate goal, so that I just don't have to do it and I don't have to think about it. And I think that that's okay, because, you know, I'm just not that person, you know, and the world is full of different people. You know, one of my favorite songs is by Miranda Lambert, and she sings a song called All Kinds of Kinds. And you know, it just talks about how it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. You know, and I think that's very true. And, you know, in all honesty, if it weren't for people like me, personal organizers, people who love to do that and who excel in it, they would have no one to do it for, right? So the world needs people like me to help then the people who are organized and do that for a living, who create products that organize your life. That's why the Container Store exists, right? Like, and I love the Container Store. So I have all these brilliant and valiant plans of becoming organized, and so that's going to be one of my goals for 2016. So moving forward, The goal will be that these podcasts will come out on a more regular basis, because becoming more organized, maybe I'll be able to, knock out the month at the beginning of the month and just have them, scheduled for the rest of the month. That would be the ideal situation. So that's going to be the plan moving forward. But in the meantime, I have been overtaken with holiday chaos. I've had, obviously, Christmas shopping. I've had, extra client work. I've taken on extra clients to earn more money for Christmas. I have been dealing with birthday parties and Christmas parties and classroom parties and choir concerts. And this time of year is just crazy busy, just trying to get everything done. And I'm sure that you all have experienced this in some form or another. So I'm hoping that you will cut me a little bit of slack in that area. But regardless, let's dive into this week's podcast. So this actually is coming from a recent Facebook post, and it's a post that wasn't necessarily Facebook that made it viral, but it was, I think it originated in Instagram. But it was, so she had posted about how she had, she had done a lot of frugal shopping, I think is how it originated. And but she was saying, look at what I was able to do for my family. And it was just a tree that was almost engulfed with presents. There were so many presents stacked in front of it. And it went viral because she ended up getting attacked, online by people saying, that's terrible. You're ruining the true meaning of Christmas. You're spoiling your kids. And how dare you do all that? And it was astonishing to me to watch people just go to town on this woman and just completely degrade her and belittle her as a parent because she had, very proudly displayed what she had been able to do for her family. Now, me personally, do I think that I would ever buy that many presents for my children? No. My kids have more stuff than they know what to do with. And some people even brought that up of, there are kids in the world who don't have anything and you're spoiling your kids. Why don't you give some of that to needy kids? And I stop and I kind of think about it and I was like, me personally, I would not buy that much for my children because, I just don't feel that my children need that much. Now, that being said, have there been Christmases where we've had an excessive amount of gifts? Yeah, there actually have because, there's years where I did a lot better than I had planned on financially. Family contributed. We actually had the school help us out one year for Christmas, and we had and to kind of go into that, it's one of those things where I, being a mom who has struggled and some years not knowing how I was going to put presents under the tree, I look at something like that and I go, I don't hold any animosity toward that mom because were there times that I wished I could do that for my kids where I could just pile presents under the tree? Of course. Especially when you're sitting there going, I don't know how I'm going to put any presents under the tree. So for that mom being able to do so much for her kids, and, you don't know what was in those presents. Here's the thing. Sometimes there were years where money was so tight. I took, I got the kids socks and underwear and things that they needed, and I wrapped each pair individually. So it looked like they had more presents under the tree. I bought them, t-shirts. Each t-shirt was wrapped individually. There wasn't sets of clothes where you put a shirt and pants and a belt all together in a box. It was all separate. A pair of pants, one box. A shirt, one box. The belt, one box. Everything. Just so that there was more volume under the tree than, what... So, for all that woman could have, bought a lot of clothes. There could be a lot of clothes in there. There could be books in there. There could be, so you don't know what all of those packages contain. So to judge the woman based on that, think about it. If her kids needed a brand new winter wardrobe, they were wearing maybe clothes that were, they had outgrown or whatever the case may be. If she bought them a ton of clothes, and you knew that they were clothes and not toys, would you jump down her throat like you did? Because she bought them a lot of clothes, instead of assuming that everything that was under that tree was a toy or something frivolous that they didn't need, right? So, like, just this whole jumping to conclusions and assumptions about people is one of the things that I fight against so much, especially being a single parent, because how often are we stereotyped, right? Like, if we go to the store and we pay with a food stamp card, do we get judged? People judge us, right? It happens all the time, right? Like, I went to the store and I had a cell phone, and this is when I was still in government assistance, and I had my cell phone and I had a nice bag, and the bag was actually a gift. It was a hand-me-down. It was given to me by my aunt, who didn't want it anymore, right? It was a nice bag. I think it was like a Coach bag or something, or some name brand designer that I don't even remember because it's not that important to me. It was just a pretty purse. Like, I liked it, but I don't remember who made it, but it was a designer bag, right? But I got it for free because it was a gift from my aunt. She had it for years and decided she didn't want it anymore and asked if I liked it when I came out to visit. And I said, yes, of course, it's beautiful. And she gave it to me, right? Like, I didn't spend the money on that bag, but I actually had people like give me looks and was like, man, you can afford a purse like that, but you use food stamps? No, I can't afford a purse like this. I don't even know how much this purse costs. Like, it was free. I got it for free from my family. But you just made the assumption that I'm some, money grubbing, welfare mooch who's just, sucking off the system and not earning my own keep. That's not true. Not to mention the fact that even though I was getting food stamps, I was working a full-time job, right? Just money-wise, I wasn't cutting it with, 2-3 kids. So I try really hard anymore not to make assumptions because it's not, I don't like it when it's done to me. So why would I go out and just automatically bash this woman for how many presents she gave her kids, right? Now, do I think children need that many toys? No, but they're not my kids. I can't tell anyone else how to raise their kids. People sure as hell shouldn't be telling me how to raise mine. As a mom, as a parent, come on, tell the truth. Don't you get offended when somebody comes to you and tries to tell you how you should raise your kids? So why then would all of these people just jump down this woman's throat? And they did. They went after her like crazy. And she went online and defended herself. She's like, you know what? Not your kids, not your tree, not your problem, right? Like, this isn't... I posted it because I was proud of what I had done for my family. But this was not you guys don't get to judge me. And that's very true. And I sit there and I see, and I had some friends comment to me about it and say, well, it's excessive. Yes, it is excessive. It is excessive. But we are a country of excess, if you stop and think about it. Do we honestly need a coffee shop that charges us $5-6 for a coffee? No, right? But we pay it. We pay it because it's yummy and delicious, but it's excessive, right? We are a country of excess. We like doing more. And I think most people tend to they jump to the conclusion like it's their position to try and put somebody in their place. And especially with internet and social media, it's super easy to be a blind, a faceless person on a screen and just go to town on somebody because there's no repercussions for your actions. Like, normally you wouldn't be that much of an asshole to anybody in their face, right? Would you? I mean, in all honesty, think about it. Very rarely would you go up to someone and look at them and go, if you were in the store and you saw someone shopping for Christmas and they had 2 buggies full of toys and presents, would you go up to them and go, God, don't you think that's a little excessive? Should you really be buying that much for your kids? Don't you think you're spoiling your children? Like, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. But online, people just feel like they have the right to just blast you, right? Because there's no repercussions. You don't have to worry about it. It's easier to be an ass online because you don't actually have to face the person that you're being a jerk to, right? So, it got me thinking because, like I said, I did have friends that came to me and said, you wouldn't do that for your kids. No, I wouldn't. But, I wouldn't let you stand there and tell me I couldn't or I shouldn't, right? there was a time when things were really, really hard, like I said before, where we were struggling and I wasn't sure how I was going to put presents under the tree. And the school, the kids, my boys were in elementary school, and the school that we went to, they had programs where other families who were well off would adopt, quote unquote, adopt another family and help them with presents. And every year, they asked if we wanted to participate. And it was usually the kids they were asking the kids, and, you know, like the teachers knew that the families were struggling, and they knew that I was a single parent raising my boys, and then my daughter. And so they would ask me, and for years I was like, no, it's okay, it's okay. And then one year, things were so hard, I was like, you know what, yeah, that I would love that. And I cried because I felt terrible. I didn't want to ask for the help, but I knew that I wasn't really going to be able to do a lot for my kids myself. And so I said, yeah, you know what, that would really help. Just a few extra gifts under the tree would mean a lot. And so, you know, as it got closer to Christmas, they called and said, okay, why don't you come down, and we've got your gifts from the family. And I said, okay, great. And I pulled up in front of the school, and the lady came out, and she was pushing a cart with boxes of toys they were presents, not toys, but with presents just wrapped up. And I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. That is way more than I could have ever imagined. Thank you so much. And she goes, oh no, there's 2-3 more carts in the school for you. And this family, and to this day, I don't know who they are, because they don't give the names, because they don't want people to know, you know, they don't want anybody to know, and they want it to be anonymous. Like, they didn't know what family they were helping, and I didn't know what family helped me. And so she brought it out, and there was just 2 more carts full of presents that were wrapped, and then another cart that had a ton of food in it, like food to make Christmas dinner, a gift card to go get a turkey or ham. I mean, and it was just, I bawled my eyes out in the front of the school because I was so touched by how much this family had done. It was overwhelming, and it astonished me. And I was like, I need to thank this family. Can you please, like, tell them I said thank you. I will bring you a card. I don't know who they are. And they wouldn't tell me, but I brought a card that me and the kids signed, you know, the very next day to the school, because it was just amazing what they had done. So that year, I was able to put a lot more under the tree than I had intended. But then, after those presents had been given to us, I actually had a client who started up with me and ended up coming through with a bunch of money that was owed to me, which is why I was struggling so much, because I had a client who owed me money and wasn't paying me. So they actually came through with the money. And at that time, my neighbor across the street, she and her family were struggling for Christmas as well. And so I thought, you know what? I pulled her aside. I said, so here's the deal. I said, we just got a ton of presents from the school, and my client just finally paid me. So I have money, a little extra money now. I would love to be able to go and just get some stuff for your kids so that you have that for Christmas. And so I really wanted to spread that around, because, you know, I know how hard it is, and I know the struggle. So for this woman, you know, I think that her being able to post and say, hey, I look at what I did for my kids. I don't begrudge her that. I don't. You know, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily get that much stuff for my kids, but that's me, you know, and I don't know what her kids needed. Right? Maybe her kids needed a bunch of this stuff. And again, I don't know what's in those presents. That's the other thing. You have no idea what's in those presents. It could be individually wrapped pairs of socks. Individually wrapped t-shirts. You don't know. So it's super easy to judge, because you don't know all the facts. But it frustrates me so much. And this especially is a time of year when we're supposed to be kinder to each other and more giving and more loving. I mean, you should be kind and loving and giving all year round, but this is the time of year where it's supposed to be even more so. And it's a little disheartening to me, because I find that people are being worse. Like, any more people are being nastier this time of year than they used to be. And, that's why I don't do things like Black Friday. I refuse to go to Black Friday sales. I won't go. I won't go until, like, after all of the crazy people have left. I don't do the standing in line for hours in the cold, freezing my butt off, waiting for them to open the door so I can push through a throng, like this crowd of people trying to get to the latest deals. I'm not getting beat up for a frickin' TV. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. I am not going to deal with masses of people pushing and shoving and being the lowest, most disrespectful form of themselves as possible because they are trying to get a better deal. And I won't do that. I can't understand it. I can't get behind it. So I wait. I wait until after the sales are over because there's no reason for me to put up with that. There really isn't. Now, for some people who can't afford to get whatever it is that they're getting, like the family who, they just don't have the money to pay full price for something, and, they really want to get their kid an Xbox One, and they want to try and get it at the cheapest possible price. I get it. I can kind of understand that. I can get why they might want to go through that nonsense so that they can get something that they normally couldn't afford. I totally get that. But it isn't worth it to me. No toaster is worth me getting run over. No TV is worth me getting beat up. And in all honesty, I don't deal with people that well in big crowds. I get very claustrophobic, and I don't deal with rude people well. So I just stay away. I stay away from Black Friday. Because it's really not that important to me. It's not. But like I said, it brings out the worst in people. Like, you see videos all the time about people getting in fights and people getting shot and people getting run over and trampled. It's just ridiculous watching that. And it's amazing to me. Like I said, this time of year, for some reason, it just seems, I think people get so self-involved. They're paying attention to, I got to get this gift, I got to get that gift, I got to move, I got to hustle, I got to get to this place and that place, and it's all about me and my family and who I'm getting for and what I'm buying. And somewhere in there, they lose the goodwill towards men feeling. It becomes a goodwill towards me. Goodwill towards me and everybody else be damned type of feeling. And I don't like that. And it's become more prevalent online, too. Like I said, it's an easier platform for people to attack. So I think my biggest lesson and biggest point from this podcast today is, especially with the holidays coming up, and that's the other thing. So many people going online. Oh, we shouldn't. Oh, they're taking out Christ from Christmas, or oh, they're removing Christmas from the schools, and you can't say Merry Christmas, and and the people who get offended because you say Christmas, like it's so frustrating to listen to, and I'm one of the more liberal people. I mean, I'm not like over the top liberal, but I'm, like I said, I'm sort of a live and let live person, right? I don't. If you want to believe, if you're like diehard Catholic or Christian and it's all about the holiday season, the Christmas, it's all about Christ and what it means and the birth of Jesus and, all that stuff, then more power to you because that's what you believe, right? I personally don't believe it. And depending on who you talk to, Jesus was technically born in March. It's just, who knows? Or Jesus wasn't born at all, and it was just a story that was told in a book that was handed down generation after generation, and somebody made a religion out of it, right? Like, it just depends on what you believe. I personally don't have a care one way or the other, right? You want to put up a manger scene in your front yard? I will still look at it and go, oh, that's pretty. Because I look at the aesthetics of it. It doesn't offend me religiously because I am not a religious person. It's pretty. I don't care. It doesn't upset me. I'm not going to make you take it down, right? If you say Merry Christmas to me, I'm going to say Merry Christmas back. If you say Happy Holidays to me, I'll say Happy Holidays back. Or I'll say Merry Christmas to you too. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus for the rest of us. I don't care what you say. As long as you're being a good person and you're conveying a good holiday spirit, then I don't give a crap what you say as far as how you convey it to me, right? It doesn't matter to me. Because what means the most to me is the message behind it. That giving of goodwill. That I hope you have a great holiday, whatever you preach or practice or believe. Just the fact that you are wishing me joy and happiness. That's what's important to me. It doesn't matter to me what you say. And, no, I don't believe they're taking the Christ out of Christmas. If you believe in that, then it's impossible to take it away. It's impossible to take it away from you, regardless. And if I say happy holidays to you and you take offense to that, then that's on you. That's your belief structure, and that's the person that you're choosing to be. Like, I'm conveying happiness and joy and peace and the season to you. If you take offense because I didn't say the word Christ, then that's you choosing to take a negative turn on what I said. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just accept the meaning behind the words instead of focusing on specifically what the words were? Like, why would you do that? Can't you... I'm not belittling your faith. I'm not demeaning your faith. I'm not excluding your faith. I'm not telling you not to believe what you believe. I'm conveying a message of warmth and love and peace and joy and happiness. And if you choose to take a negative aspect from that, then that's something you need to examine about you and not worry about me. That's how I feel. And again, I think that there's so many people that they are, forget taking the Christ out of Christmas. You're taking the joy out of Christmas. You're taking the joy and the happiness out of the season. If you choose to focus on all that negativity instead of just going, everybody be happy, everybody be peaceful, everybody spread joy, regardless of how you choose to do it. Like, that's the important part. The words are not as important as the actions. The words are not as important as the meaning behind them. Right? So, the woman with the tree, that was her way of expressing her love and her joy and her ability to provide for her family. And that's all I see. It's a lot of presents. Maybe she's got 8 kids. I don't know. I mean, I think she has like 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly how many she has. But again, that was her decision. She wanted to give that for her kids. She was proud of what she had been able to do. And I don't know if she chooses to volunteer and donate to charity. Maybe all of the clothes that those, because I looked at some of the packages, they can't all be toys. Some of them were very flat. They had to be clothes or puzzles or books or something. I mean, they couldn't be all toys. Maybe the clothes that her children don't fit in anymore are donated to less fortunate people. There are tons of things. Maybe she is going to take and donate to other people. But who am I to judge whether she does or doesn't, right? She's not the bad guy for providing so much for her children. Those who are judging her and calling her names and being nasty and mean and rude to her, they end up being the bad guys. Like, it's not your place to judge this mom. And as a single mom, like I said, I'm sick of people just jumping to conclusions and judging without all of the information and without knowing that person. You don't know that person's story. And, there's those who say, well, if you don't want to be judged, you shouldn't put it out online. That's crap. That's absolute crap. You are choosing to judge that person. The person isn't putting stuff out online going, oh, I hope, everybody supports me, or I hope, people don't come and condemn me. You post what you want online. It's your, I have a huge beef with people who say, well, if you don't want people knowing your drama, you shouldn't post it online. If you don't like me posting my drama on my own page, you don't have to look. Right? I'm not forcing you to read. I'm not forcing you to comment. You don't like what I have to say? Move about your merry business, right? I saw a little meme the other day where it said something like, Carl noticed something online that offended him greatly, and he continued to scroll. Well played, Carl. Like, he didn't, like, why can't you just let it go? It doesn't matter. This person is not deliberately trying to offend you, yet you have taken it personally for some reason. Why? Has nothing to do with you. Has nothing to do with you. Has nothing to do with shaming you or your ability to provide for your family. I had some people sit there and I saw posts and they're like, how dare you post this when there's people out there like me? I can't even afford to get my kids presents. Well, I'm so sorry for you. That's not fun. It sucks. But if you were able to get presents for your children, if you were able to give them more than you're able to give them right now, wouldn't you feel good about that? Wouldn't you be proud of yourself? Like, wouldn't you want, to be able to post and go, yay, I was able to do something for my family, right? Without anybody critiquing or criticizing you? Would you like it if someone turned around and said, well, how dare you not get your kids any presents? How could you? Shouldn't you feel bad about yourself because you don't have the money to provide for your kids? How dare you not give your kids Christmas gifts? Like, you wouldn't want people doing that to you. So why would you then turn around and condemn someone for being able to provide for their kids? There's too much judgment in the world, and I've written a blog post about that in the past, of people judging for breastfeeding or not breastfeeding, cloth diapers or disposable diapers, or organic fed or not organic fed. Like, people just, why can't you just let them do what they're going to do? I tell my daughter all the time, be you the best you can. Be the best you that you can be, and that is all that you can do in this world. Don't worry about whether other people like it or condone it or are okay with it. If you are being the best person that you possibly can and you are being a good person, then the rest doesn't matter. And as adults, that should be what we're doing, and I tried really hard not to judge people, and I feel it's hard because I am sitting here kind of condemning the people who are judging. So I realize kind of the irony of that, but it's more of not even a judgment, just why can't you just let them be? Why couldn't you just let this woman be? If you didn't agree with how many presents or how many packages she provided for her kids, keep on moving. Tell yourself, gosh, I would never do that with my kids. Okay, good. That's how you raise your family. That's how you will be with your children. That's what you will do for your family. Let that woman do what she wants to do for her family. That's on her. And if she's spoiling her kids, that's on her. That's her. She deals with the repercussions of that. If her children end up spoiled, rotten brats, then they end up spoiled, rotten brats, and she has to deal with that. And then as they become adults, then they have to learn how to deal with that, because they have to deal with a world that doesn't care whether you were spoiled as a child. You're a grown up now. You have to deal with the world like the rest of us, right? So those are her repercussions to deal with, not ours. And so therefore, the judgment shouldn't be there. Let her parent. Let everyone parent the way they're going to parent, and stop judging. You don't like being judged, so therefore stop judging others. It's a really simple concept. Really easy. Right? And just let people live their lives to the best of their ability. So that's today's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I would love to hear from you. Have you guys ever had a situation where someone just judged you without really knowing all the facts? Were you a single mom who was looked down on because you were using food stamps to buy food? Have you ever had somebody just blatantly outright judge you and not know the full story? I would love to hear and hear how you dealt with that situation. How did it make you feel? Because I know it sucked for me. I hated it. It really was not, it made me very angry, to be perfectly honest. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I have the outlook that I do. I didn't like it when people did it to me, so I sure as heck try really hard not to do it to other people. I run into that problem with my son being a special needs child. I have people come up, when he was having tantrums in the middle of the store because, I have a child it's like having a child with high functioning autism. So there were times when something set him off and he would scream at the top of his lungs like he was being murdered. no idea what was wrong, but people were looking at me like I was a bad parent. I had women come up to me and tell me, how dare you not, you should really do something about your child. Have you ever thought of like disciplining your child? No, that thought never occurred to me, nosy person. Like, so, I've kind of run the gambit with people judging me for my parenting, for, being on government assistance, being a single mom, having children without being married. I got judged by my family for that one. So, what have you had to deal with, and has it made you more understanding towards other people? Are you less likely or less quick to judge others because you know how it feels when somebody judges you without understanding your situation or knowing all the facts? Please, comment below if you're listening to this on the blog. If you're listening to this on a different podcasting station, please go to thesinglemomblog.com. I would love to get your feedback and comments on this. We love hearing from our readers. I love hearing from our readers. And we love just to hear your stories. So again, go to thesinglemomblog.com. Check us out. Feel free to browse around. There's lots more articles, other podcasts if you haven't seen all of them or listened to all of them. And please subscribe to the podcast so that you know when we have new ones coming out. Thanks so much. I hope you guys have a happy holiday. Whatever you celebrate, whatever you believe, whatever your faith, religion, or non, love each other, love your family, squeeze your kids harder, and I hope you have a blessed season. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Single Mom Podcast, the place to go for support, encouragement, and maybe a few laughs along the way. Please also make sure you head on over to the Single Mom blog for more great stuff for single moms. We have resources, free things to print out, great articles. Can't wait to see you there. Be sure to leave feedback and comments because we love hearing from other single moms. And if you like this podcast, please be sure to subscribe.